Okay?
Call the meeting order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to convene as Walworth County Planning and Zoning Board. Is there any old business? New business?
Hearing none, I move for adjournment.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
A second.
A second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, I'd like to convene as the Walworth County Board of Zoning Adjustment. Is there any old business? New business?
Move for adjournment.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
Second.
Got a second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, I'd like to convene as the Board of County Commissioners. I need a motion to approve the County Commission Planning and Zoning Adjustment Minutes of December 11th, 2018.
So move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
Second.
Got a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, has everybody had a chance to go over the claims?
Move to approve.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. I think we know everybody. Phyllis, do you have anything? Okay, Mobridge, you can come up here and present.
Good morning.
Good morning. A few weeks ago, Commissioners Holgard and Schlummer approached the city to see if the city would entertain the idea of transporting prisoners to Falk County. For the benefit of the taxpayers and to try and work together with the county, the city council did approve a proposal that I believe is in your packets. And what the proposal consists of is what it would cost the city to start transporting prisoners to Falk County. It's based off of the requirement that we would need 4 certified police officers. Their loaded wages, along with a little bit of overtime, because we do pay time and a half on all holidays. It also consists of uniforms and equipment for those 4 officers to get them going. Insurance, a little bit for some special equipment, like we put GPS in all of our vehicles. Fuel, and a little bit of vehicle maintenance. Some other things that we did include in the proposal that we felt would work good for both agencies was that we would like, if we entered into a 3-year contract, the city has been very good about giving all city employees a cost of living increase every year. It would also include the transfer of 2 vehicles from the county. I would set up a special fund to track all transport expenses and revenues from the county. The city would submit to the county a monthly financial report of the transport fund. The city would return any remaining funds to the county at the end of a fiscal year if any is left over. Or the county may choose to carry over those funds for a following fiscal year. The city would be willing to provide a representative to come to the city commission meetings once a month to give you guys a report on either finances or just how it's going overall. The city would also like to request that if we were to enter into this agreement, that it would be a 3-year contract with a 6-month written notice for early termination by either party. We felt that with 3 years, it would be easier to hire and at least guarantee an employee a certain amount of time if they were to come on board.
But are you set in stone on that, I guess?
On a 3-year contract. That's how the city council approved it. I guess we would be open for other ideas or thoughts. I think it would be hard to recruit certified officers if they weren't guaranteed a certain
I think so,
time of
yeah.
employment.
I think it would be difficult to have people if we had, say, a 1-year contract, to get somebody to be willing to come there for a year.
I was thinking more 2 rather than 3.
Yeah, that,
Just looking at your proposal here.
we're just here willing to do what we can for the taxpayers of both the city of Mobridge and Walworth County. Do what we can to help.
I guess the reason that we asked about this was just to check different options and to see what it would cost, being the arresting agency is the one that is responsible for transporting to the jail, to see what it would cost them to be the ones that, if we designate, to see what it would actually cost. So that was the reason that we asked what it would cost you guys to do it. So at least we have some numbers in front of us to make a decision now, so. But I guess we're gonna hopefully make a decision here in the near future. I don't know if we'll make a decision today or not, but on our behalf, I want to thank you for doing this, to give us some numbers to take a look at.
Sure.
Yes, Josh, do you have anything to ask?
Can I address the commission, Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
I guess the only thing I have to say, like you said, you're entertaining the idea. I was not part of the negotiations on this, Mr. Chairman. I think I should have been. I am the chief law enforcement officer of the county. I am in charge of the jail. I'm in charge of the inmates by statute, both to include transportation. I guess my question is, that's fine, and I'm glad we did this. I mean, it was an idea, and you guys went with it. I just don't understand if I'm mandated by statute for the care and custody and transportation of all inmates once they are detained at a jail, if we were to close and we had to designate one, which the commission board would do. I guess being in charge of those inmates, I should have been part of this process. I knew of discussions. I didn't know of all the meetings. I found out about them on the backside. I've had conversations with the chief, but I didn't know about the city, them approaching you guys. So I mean, I don't hold no ill regards against you guys at all. so don't think that. I just think I should have been part of the process, Mr. Chairman. And like I said, as Commissioner Hogard said, it's an idea. They researched it, but if I'm mandated by statute, why wouldn't I get the 4 additional employees to do it? But is how I see it. But like I said, it's an avenue, and 2 of the commissioners want to look at that avenue. Like I said, by statute and an Attorney General opinion, I am responsible for all the inmates by statute, whether I have a jail here or they're detained in another facility. Care, custody, and transportation. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything for Mobridge?
Sean,
Yes.
does Mobridge understand that it is up to them to transport to that jail? It's our responsibility once they're housed to transport them back. That would be Mobridge's cost to transport them to it. And are they inclined to transport any of our inmates from that jail to Yankton for mental evaluations? Or is all that stuff going to be covered in this here low price of $280,000?
From my understanding, it would include.
Can you hear him, Jim?
So they're gonna do all the transports from if, say, Falk County to Yankton for,
Sean's gonna talk right now.
okay?
If I may, excuse me, got a cold. I think what Jim's trying to say is all the emergency committals, the furloughs, stuff that's mandated by court, competency hearings, which our last one had to go up to Rapid City. They're very, very long drives. Everybody knows where Yankton is and where Rapid City's at. So, that's where he's going with that.
You go ahead, Sean.
From my understanding, as the arresting agency, we would be responsible to transport them to the Falkton facility. Once they are there, Falkton, I think, agreed that they would probably do the transports to court. As far as mental holds, transports to Yankton and things like that, those would not be considered an arrest.
Yes, Josh.
Again, another mandate that the sheriff's office is mandated to do by statute.
So then Sean, and you, Falk County would not like take him to Yankton or somewhere like that? Or they would take him?
I don't know what Falk County would do.
Okay.
That's.
Okay, well, I guess that's one question that has to be asked.
Yeah, this is just a rough idea that we were asked to come up with, just an option if you guys should need to do something with your facility. If you feel it's not in your best interest, we're not going to be upset. We're just here to assist.
Okay, well, to me, it's a good thing, we gotta, so we know what has to be done, and, yes, John.
And again, I'll reiterate, I appreciate your guys' time and effort that you guys put into the proposal that they asked you to come up with. I do appreciate that, so, thank you.
So if nobody has anything else?
I got a question. If we were to go this route, is it my understanding as far as transportation, we were going to hire you as a transportation company, you would take care of the transportation to Falk County and back for court? Is that not correct, or did I misunderstand that?
I guess I thought, my understanding was once they got to Falkton that they were going to purchase a bus or whatever and do the transports to court or work that out with mileage.
Yeah, they were looking at that option as purchasing a bus to help assist us in transportation when need be. My understanding was that we were going to have the ability to use the Mobridge Police Department as our main transportation company, and if for some reason we couldn't make that work, that Falk County would actually be able to have a bus available to help us transport back when need be. Maybe I misunderstood or not, but that was my understanding.
I mean, I think it could be a possibility for like Monday courts or whatever, but I think it'd still be pretty difficult. We'd have to adjust some of those figures to do any other court hearings or doctor visits or anything like that, so. Especially when Fulton's got a hospital right there, and I think they got a nurse on board.
Right.
Yes, Becky?
I guess I just need some clarification because we're saying that it's the arresting agency's responsibility to get him to the jail, right? Most of the arrests come from the city. So why would we be employing 4 people at the city? Why would we be paying for that? Because they're gonna have a lot of their own transports they need to do. Why would that be the responsibility of the county to pay for all of it?
Well, I guess originally my thinking was that, again, the understanding that I was under the understanding is they were going to be our contract agency. And they would be contracted to transport from Falk County back to court. And basically, they're gonna take the inmates down to Falk County, of course, but they would also be our contracting agency to bring them back and forth to court also. So that was the idea of making, getting a contract to where we have that transportation available. Because of them being the ones that were basically being the majority of the arresting officer, arresting positions.
Right, and he said they'd get them to Falk County. Well, they have to anyways.
Right.
Is what I'm
Exactly.
trying to understand.
And that would not be at the county's expense. Those Mobridge officers hauling them to Falk County, right?
Either way, exactly right. Either way, the arresting agency is the ones that's gonna have to get them there. The idea of the contract was, from my understanding, the idea of the contract was to be able to also get them back to court. And that was the reason for helping subsidize that cost.
Well, I guess,
I
go ahead, Jim.
personally don't believe anybody will transport them cheaper. We can do it ourselves.
Well, this is why we're just getting the information out now to make a decision here. That's what we asked them to do, was to get us the information so we can sit down and discuss this and at least have an idea of what it's gonna cost us.
Well,
That
yes,
was the
and-
only reason for doing this, was to have more information so we can make a decision.
I mean, I guess I'd look at it, then it's obvious that Mobridge would have to tweak theirs probably a little bit. I mean, these are the things that I was talking about. There's probably little things that have to be worked out if a guy is gonna go this route, so. I mean, but I mean, is there anything else that a guy can think of, I mean, right now that we're not thinking of?
I guess if I could add in a little bit too, on the transport to the jail, I think I kind of mentioned it to you guys that if we did courts on Monday or whatever, we'd have a 100-mile trip down, 80 miles back to the Selby Courthouse. If anybody needed to go back, we'd have another 80 miles back to Fulton and then 100 miles back to Mobridge. So it'd be a 360-mile trip versus if Fulton did the transports on court days, they would have 160 miles total back and forth. So.
Well, I mean, that's just obvious, that's just a question that has to get asked Faulkton, I mean. Yes, Josh?
Do you want the city to try and put those numbers together for you?
Well, I would think that
'Cause I think
they've
there's-
gone this far, they just as well add that.
Yeah.
I mean, they've
Got
done.
a
done all
good
this
working
research.
relationship with the chief and stuff. I mean, I'm sure they're willing to work those numbers, let you guys see them, since you
Well, yeah.
guys asked for the proposal. And it seems to me that there's a little bit of misunderstanding, so maybe they need to go back and look at that and come back, you know, as far as on the transporting side, like the chief was talking about.
But
So,
that's what I'm getting at, is there anything else in this proposal? That's why we should talk about it now, if they gotta change something, so that they don't come back and say, no, could you change this? I mean, that's why I'm asking. If not, thank you for coming over, and we'll be in touch if you wanna touch that up a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
thanks, you guys.
Okay, 15, we're gonna hold that until in 22. Amanda. Josh. Josh, you wanna tell him, Amanda?
He's not here.
Okay. Well, Lyle, you're here.
I'd prefer to wait till Amanda's here because
Okay, then we'll do
part
that.
of what I'm talking about are things that she needs to be involved with.
Here she is.
There she is.
Here. Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm gonna keep it really short because I barely have any voice, so. Okay, so I just wanted to update you a little bit on the LEPC. I'm still pretty new at this and figuring it out. But what this is the Local Emergency Planning Committee. Walworth County is already part of the Warhawk LEPC. So what that means is that it's made up of elected officials, responders, emergency managers, and even private sectors, private individuals, because the goal is to have a whole community involved in the planning process and also in like the training and preparing process for emergencies and disasters. So by participating in these meetings, we also become eligible for LEPC grants, which goes towards operating expenses for the program, trainings, and other equipment for like hazmat spills or anything like that. So it's a pretty important thing to be active in and keep that going. Some examples that we do at these meetings are going to be like tabletop exercises, just spitballing what we can do and prepare if there were to have an accident or something involving a chemical spill. So with that being said, we also have a Warhawk LEPC meeting coming up on January 24th at 11 at Pizza Ranch in Mobridge. So we really encourage if you can attend as an elected official, because essentially if we do have a disaster, you know, we're going to be looking at you guys for what you want to do as the county and to make decisions as part of the whole process. So the more you can get involved, the better. At 11 o'clock,
Yeah, what was the date? I'm sorry.
January 24th
Pizza Ranch.
at Pizza Ranch, yep. So it's just more about being proactive than reactive. So just another opportunity to get involved in the preparing process. So that's all I have.
You got a sign-up sheet for today?
No, I don't, because I'm not talking about any of the other stuff. But if you want to, if you plan on attending, you can write me or call me, and I'll make sure that we have everything for you. So, yep. I think that's it. Unless you guys have any more questions.
I don't have any.
No. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lyle, you're gonna.
No. She's got something else on here.
Oh,
We have a supplement,
I forgot that. It was up there.
number 17.
Consider motion to approve automatic supplements in the amount of $25,429.31 to the 101-222 for grant funds received.
You want me to just explain?
And so this funding is the part of the reimbursement for the generator. Since we did get that project done and it's up and running and it's been tested and everything, the Homeland Security reimbursed that back. We'll also be having another one coming, but I just wanted to get the main chunk coming in. So this is going to be for the transfer switch and the generator is what this funding is.
Make a motion to approve the supplement.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second. Got a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. Motion passed. Yes, John.
Just an, excuse me, darn cold. Just an FYI on the generator, the jail one's working adequately now too. So that was taken care of.
Good enough. Okay, number 18, discussion regarding SDDOT road designation.
No. That's Swan Creek situation. Jim, did you get your email on this?
What's that?
Did you get your email on this?
No.
Well, Jim, I think I can tell you, I think it's that road that, you know, you got that, where that bridge is at, you guys don't use, and then you got
Oh, yeah?
that rock
Yeah,
crossing.
Jamie said he was gonna bring that up next meeting, because him and I were not gonna be there.
Okay, we can table it.
Okay, then we'll just table it, then that'll make more sense. Okay, we'll table that then until next meeting. Lyle.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to me this morning. I'm going to start out by saying Jim was correct. There's roads in Walworth County that Google Maps had wrong names on. And I don't know, Jim, if you've followed it or not, but probably about 6 or 8 months ago, I was able to work with Google Maps and get the road going west of Itasca changed from Sloan Creek Road to Swan Creek Road. And also then there's a short stretch that turns off of Swan Creek Road that goes north up to Jim's yard that is called Triple U Road, and I got that also fixed. And the reason I asked Amanda to stay here to be part of the discussion is because as emergency management coordinator in the county, having correct names on Google Maps is, I consider, pretty critical. Because there are people that are called into emergencies that's what they use to guide them. And sure, a lot of us might know where those particular locations are, but if you're coming from outside the area, being able to find it with your tracking device is pretty important. So I suggested to Amanda that it probably should be one of her responsibilities to contact ambulance and fire departments in the county and ask if there's any roads that are labeled wrong on a mapping like Google Maps, because it is pretty critical that they be correct, and then work at getting them fixed. And so then that leads me a little bit into the discussion that we have today. If you look at that map you have in front of you, you see numbers that are circled in various locations. And I'll start with numbers 1, 2, and 3, which is the East Lowry Road. And when Alfred Dreyer was commissioner, he introduced a motion to change that road to East Lowry Road. And that would be, Becky, probably over 10 years ago that Alfred was commissioner. Wouldn't you agree?
It was before I got here and I've been here 11.
So you've been here 11, okay. Well, if you look where number 2 is, that's still wrong. And I will tell you, it was easier to get Google Maps to correct the name from Sloan Creek to Swan Creek than it was to get our county to put the right name on the sign. I've spoken numerous times in recent history trying to get our county highway superintendent to put the right sign up at number 2. And I found that it didn't happen. And so, yeah, we've got issues in the county where we've got names wrong, but good grief, can't we at least get our county to put the right sign up so people can follow correctly? It's been a real inconvenience coming off of 310th Avenue and heading north and telling people, don't look at the signs because it's not correct. And so the reason I'm here today partly is I know that next year the whole county is going to be re-signed. And so I'd ask, please, if you don't do anything else today, designate somebody, please, to get that sign corrected from that where number 2 is. It should say East Lowry Road on there, and it doesn't. Then the other issue was when I came in June of 2016, I met before the board and they passed a resolution changing the road going south out of Lowry from 144th Street to the West Lowry Road. And it's my understanding that avenues in our county run north and south, and streets run east and west. And if you look at that road, you'll see that the first half mile, a little more than half mile, runs north and south on a quarter line. And the last mile does not follow a section line. And so I propose that we change the name of that to West Lowry Road. Common sense. If I tell somebody there's an accident on West Lowry Road, or there's a fire on West Lowry Road, or the junction of the West Lowry Road and Highway 83, automatically people would know where that's at. And the other thing is, if you go up where number 7 is located on your map, that's Highway 144. And if you went down there today, you'll see the county does have a sign up there at the junction saying South Dakota Highway 144 and US Highway 83. So the county does have a sign at that junction, and of course they have a sign by number 5 that says Street 144 and Highway 83. So it is a little bit confusing, but yeah, if you sit there and look at it, you'll recognize that one's a state highway and one's a county road. But my suggestion is to eliminate confusion. Let's change that road going south out of Lowry from a street name to West Lowry Road. And that should have probably been done when the road was changed going east out of Lowry, but of course we didn't do it. And the reason I'm here today again is because the whole county is going to be re-signed next year, and the appropriate time to do it would be now. I guess the other thing that concerned me a little bit was when that motion was passed in June of 2016, I waited over a year for the signs to get changed, and when they didn't, I came in probably late last year or early this year, and I asked Penny when the sign's going to be changed. And I guess I didn't hear back, other than I could tell she wasn't in favor of it. The next thing I know, I read in the paper that the commission rescinded the motion that they made a year and a half earlier. And I guess I wasn't aware that it was going to be discussed. Yeah, it was probably on the agenda, but I wasn't aware of it. And so it bothered me that that was done without asking me to come back in and testify. It bothered me, first of all, that it wasn't done the first time, and then it bothered me, secondly, when the motion was rescinded. And it also concerned me, as I reviewed the video of the meetings, that she acted like she didn't know that a motion was passed in 2016. When I met with her, I reminded her that this is what the commission had asked for. And so, anyway, be it as it may, common sense should prevail, and that road that currently is called 144th Street should be renamed to West Lowry Road, and that's what I'm asking you to do.
Well, to me, it would only make a little sense that once the signs are all getting changed, it'd be easier to change it now.
Now, I would say that I don't think it should be something that is taken lightly. I think changing the name of the road is something that should be done infrequently and with serious consideration. As a matter of fact, I suggested to Amanda that, we've got an administrative manual for the county, that if you want to put up a structure, you need a building permit. If you want a variance, there's an application to fill out for a variance. If you need a conditional use permit, there's an application for it. In this case here, there is no application, but maybe in your administrative manual you might want to create one, or at least create a protocol as to what are the considerations that need to be made in order for a road name to be changed. In this particular case, from the town of Lowry to Highway 83, there are no occupied farmsteads, so there's nobody that's going to be impacted with the change of address. William and Paula Thorstensen, you can see in section 17, they own that section. There was a building, is a building site there, but it's been unoccupied, I'm gonna say for probably 20 years. And when I originally came in June of 2016, before coming in to meet with you, I did talk to Bill and say, I want you to know I'm coming before the commission, you know, and you'd be the only one potentially that could have somebody living there. And he was okay with it. Like I said, no one's lived in that farmstead for probably 20 years, and in that house, it's probably uninhabitable right now. So anyway, if you want to make a decision today, I understand. If you want to think about it, that's fine. I promise you I'm not coming back in front of you again. Not on this subject, maybe on something else, but not on this one.
Well, we can make it at the next meeting anyhow. Correct.
Can we make a motion now?
Well, here's the other thing is, I did call the state of South Dakota. And if somebody can find a phone number for me in the state of South Dakota that they'll tell you that you cannot in the county change the name, I'd like to find it, because I made numerous calls to various departments in Pierre. And the standard answer I got was, that is the county's jurisdiction. They can name their roads. Now, they do have a certain, you know, requirement if you have, not requirement, but they want you to follow certain standards. If it's a north-south road, it should be an avenue. If it's an east-west road, it should be a street. But are there times, if you look at our county maps, where we don't use a street or an avenue name? Absolutely. The two that I worked on west of Akaska, Swan Creek Road, Triple U Road. You know, there are times when we use something other than a street or an avenue in naming roads in our county. But generally speaking, streets follow a section line east and west, avenues follow a section line north and south.
What was the reason that the superintendent said something about that? Was it 911? I remember her saying something that, wasn't it with 911 or something that she was having a problem with, or?
Everybody I called in Pierre told me that it's, and you know, I should have written names down of who I called, but talked to more than one. Nobody indicated that it's something the county does not have jurisdiction over, what they call their streets, what they call their roadways. And if you want to research it, fine. I mean, but I couldn't find anybody that would say otherwise.
Well, Amanda, is this something that we could put on her job description?
What? Changing this road?
No.
Could we just have you check with 911 to see if there's any issues about changing, like West Lowry Road? If 911, seems to me that that's what Penny's big deal was, is there was something about 911 on there. So Amanda, if you could check on that, so.
I really think that's, to be honest with you, I've talked to Amanda about it, and I also talked to the chairman about it, and it probably is something that should be in Amanda's jurisdiction as far as labeling streets, roads. Someone comes in and is putting up a new structure and wants a house number on it. Yeah, the county probably should be in charge of erecting signs if they need to be. But it probably should be in her jurisdiction with emergency management to have, you know, to take care of this sort of thing.
I think Kevin is right, Mr. Chairman, though it was a 911 issue.
To me, it either should be like Amanda or next door there to Greg or something. I mean, to me, it doesn't, I can see that the highway department should put the sign up,
Right.
but I don't think they should be.
And Josh is right, that she did talk about that, but I'll guarantee you, I talked to those people in Pierre, and the standard response I got was that that is something that the county is responsible for. So, but I would prefer that somebody other than me check it out.
Well, I think we'll discuss that. I mean, we'll check into it, but
Sure.
I'm saying,
I think as far as designating you know, numbers and roads and stuff, I think that should come from over there, and then after we get that figured out, coordinate with 911 would be me. I don't think I would have any say in the numbers or the actual labeling of the structures or anything like
I know
that.
you wouldn't have anything to do with the actual numbers,
Yeah.
but.
But that when it comes to coordinating with
Could you at least
911.
check with 911 to see, seems to me, I remember something about, that was the issue, is that 911 doesn't follow Google Map or something like that. She said
They're
it was
two-
impossible to
yeah,
get
they're-
Google Map to change something.
Google Maps is an entity all to itself. It's got nothing to do, they use our 911 system for their mapping, but they're an entirely different, their business that just uses that. And they're not the only mapping company. There's other mapping companies that are out there. They're the most common one that people use.
But wouldn't that fall under Beacon too? To change Beacon to locate the maps in the county? It should fall under Beacon.
Well, just ask Deb about it.
Yeah, and I would say Beacon and Google and our 911 system are three different
I'm
things.
sure they are.
Because, you know, what we decide to do here in our county, whether it's Beacon or Google or Bing or some other mapping company, they all are gonna, should track with what our county decides to do. That's what I've discovered.
I don't know.
I can tell you, Scott, right now, if you go to maps, it's Sloan Creek Road from west of Casca out. The only Swan Creek Road is Tommy's driveway.
You go to Google Maps, Jim, you'll find that's not true.
I'm looking at my map right now, Lyle.
Google Maps,
Sitting in my pickup on my phone. Maps. It says Sloan Creek Road out. It comes right up by my driveway. The only Swan Creek Road is Tommy's driveway.
you're not on Google Maps though, Jim.
I'm on the map that our
You're probably on.
emergency responders would get on if they were called to my place to come to an accident or something.
What,
Yes, Judge.
I think they have specific mapping that they use at the dispatch center, is where the 911 thing comes in. So, I mean, it is a local and a local issue. But the county can name roads, as far as I know, but it has to do with, it's not necessarily Google, because that's not what 911 uses over in Mobridge. It's whatever mapping that they have, and they're gonna plug that address in on their mapping. So that's where it has to be entered right in order for it to read it correctly. Does that make sense? So,
Well,
I guess, yeah, I'm curious, Jim, apparently it's not Google Maps you've got. I'd be curious to know what it is, because it should be corrected.
yeah, one of us just, let's look into it, that's all.
Yeah.
there isn't any fire department that uses a map in their vehicles like that. We don't have them in our fire departments to respond to it. I know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I just,
Your radios more or less GPS
Right.
tracking deals in all the vehicles.
do you know what you use, Josh, what you use for mapping? If you're called,
myself,
well, or anybody in your department?
they'll punch it in, well, the two MDTs have it on there, so they can punch it up on there, but otherwise punch it up on their phone if I don't know the address or know if I call in, they give me the name, most of the time I can drive there, but
Sure.
a couple times the phone has gotten me lost too. They gave me a completely different direction for one call down by Hove, and it had me over by Bowell, but I knew the farm and I knew that wasn't right, so.
Yeah,
But you could be using a different app on your phone than Travis is on his phone and to get to it. That's what I'm saying, there's no standard map that we have in the county for emergency dispatch, other than maybe at the dispatch office. And nobody else has that map over there to do it either, so.
Correct.
I consider it, the issue that Jim deals with west of Akaska, I consider that to be a real problem. And whoever, needs to be responsible for trying to fix it. But I do know that Google Maps, I did correct it. I'm not sure what Jim has got for mapping, I just know Google Maps is correct. And that's the most common one that people use.
Does Mobridge use the same one all the time? I mean, the one they've got, I mean, they don't.
They have mapping software, so yeah, it's the same. And they can plug, you can talk more to it, it's the same, Justin, but.
It's the same, and it's a contract they use, and I don't think Brooks has changed it in years, to be honest with you. They just keep updating addresses on it.
Maybe Amanda, you could check with them to see what it would be to change their map over at dispatch. So,
Yeah, I wouldn't think it'd be a big thing to fix.
Well, I can tell you it's not easy.
It is not.
Yeah, because I talked with Penny about it, and she tried how many times? Jim, did you ever try to fix it?
Nope, I didn't. I left that up to Penny, that was her job.
Yeah, no, and I talked to Penny, and then after I got it fixed, I did meet with her, and she looked it up, and yeah. So I'm not, if there's maps out there that they're wrong on yet, it's something we need to work on.
We'll look at it and bring it back to the next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lyle.
Thanks, Lyle.
Number 20, Highway Department. Okay, I need to consider motion to authorize a budget supplement in the amount of $400,000 to 201-311 for flood repairs.
where'd that come from?
What's that?
Where'd that 400,000 come from? Was that from?
You remember when we did a transfer from secondary roads to the road and bridge general fund? That was part of that. So that's where the funds are coming from.
Okay.
So moved.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
Second.
Got a second. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Okay, consider motion to authorize an automatic supplement in the amount of $94,873.68 to 201-311 for grant funds received.
That was the community access grant reimbursement.
Is that for 319?
Yes.
I so move.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
Second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Number 21, consider motion to authorize contingency transfers to appropriate budgets as needed.
Okay, the total that we are needing to transfer out of the $125,000 is $64,929.45. $263.85 is needed in the election budget. $40,701.72 is needed in the court-appointed attorney budget. $902.47 is needed in the poor relief budget. $6,846.23 is needed in the mental illness services and fees budget. $1,618.32 is needed in the mental illness board budget. And then $14,596.86 is needed in the extension budget.
Why was there so much in the extension?
It's due to the Campbell paying us and all of that back and forth. And insurance, would have a big part to do with it as well.
Okay, I'll need a motion for the 64,929.45.
We gotta do these all separately.
No,
We can do it all at once.
yes.
Okay. Even better. Okay, I'll take a motion for that.
I'll make a motion to approve all of them.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
No second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hear none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Josh?
Good morning and thank you. How's everybody today?
Sound better than you.
Well, I'm getting over it at least, finally. The crud is going around.
You know who you gave it to?
Just wanted to get it. Okay. One other thing, under reports, I just wanted to, this is just more of an FYI for you guys. The current jail administrator, Justin Youngworth, completed his correspondence course through the National Sheriff's Association for the accomplishment of jail management and jail administrator.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Anybody got any questions on the reports?
How many was on work release? And what do we get per day for work release?
$30 a day.
Yeah, let's see, start. I got one from Jackson County, currently that's in there. It's gonna be, I think he's gonna end up doing 90 days, he's gonna do, 90 or 120, I can't remember off the top of my head now. That he's paying for himself to do the work release.
And he's working in the area for the,
Yeah.
which is why he's sitting the day
So
shift.
it's costing him a couple grand a month to do it.
So is this work, is $2,590 for 1 month?
Yeah, his bill, I think, for a month is roughly around $2,060, somewhere in there. And then we had some other ones that were in doing work release too. So yeah, it's sentenced in Jackson County, but I think he has a farm in Eagle Butte or Dupree, and he's wanted to sit up here, so it was quicker to run back and forth.
Is this money that they pay us?
Yep.
So we have 86 days of prisoner release, work release for 1 month.
I'd have to go back and double check, I don't know what is on his sheet. But yeah, I know I had him, and I had at least 2 to 3 other ones doing work release in that same month. Those were local Mulbridge ones, the other ones. He's the only long distance one I have that I took in from Jackson County.
Can you make a note on that and put that in your report?
Okay.
So that they,
Okay?
did you want to do the third one, Scott, and talk about the ideas that are circulating, and we can talk about both of them?
You mean, Rock County one you're talking about, and then the jail
Oh, I
project,
didn't know.
which one you talking about?
I was just thinking, the third bullet on mine, for the discussion. Did you want to talk about the
Well, I think we should do the executive first before we,
okay,
to get that straightened out.
it's fine.
If nobody has anything on reports, I'll take a motion to enter into executive session.
So moved.
Okay, you got a motion on the floor, I need a second.
I second that.
Got a second? Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion passed. Yes, Josh, what's your last one?
Jail project discussion. I just wanted to get it out there and so the public knows, because I got questions. And I'm sure you guys have what the board and what we're all looking at, still trying to look at. I know on our side, we looked at a renovation / addition and dealing with the old, and I'll share that number with you because I've shared it with you, some of the other people, and Scott, you've seen it. A $5.4 million project. That's renovation of the 99 addition with a new addition on it. The old would come down. Total housing space would was that 36 to 38?
32 to 36.
32, okay. My bad.
No, I'm just,
I'll correct. Yep, 32 to 36. I gave you mine, I didn't have it sitting for.
Is that a drawing of it?
just a rough.
It's just a,
It's just kind of high.
it's not a schematic drawing, so. Originally, it came in with, at 5.8. I told them that they wanted to use that addition as additional jail space instead of, the 5.8 had the sheriff's office in that new addition with jail addition and jail bed space added on to it. The 5.4 is utilizing the 99 addition, currently renovated as joint bed space for jail, not sheriff's office. So it brought it down 400,000 to 5.4, or 4,000, excuse me, not 5, 400,000. So originally 5.8, the end result was 5.4. That's using the whole thing as jail bed space.
And I'll just throw this out there, Josh, I am talking with another outfit, and hopefully it was gonna be this afternoon, but I don't know if he was gonna make it here or not, so I was just gonna meet with him. And just see what he had to say. So,
And that was from EAPC, who we were using prior, and they did not charge us anything to do that. I just haven't reworked the numbers if we were to do this.
My only thing is to put it out to the public is to say, we know there's a problem with our existing jail. We was taking a look at these contracts from Mobridge and from Falk County, just to get an idea of what it would cost to house ours out of county, irregardless if we remodel or rebuild. We know there's a problem with the jail. So I was looking at it more of an insurance policy to buy us time to make a decision on what we're gonna do with the existing jail. So it cuts our liability down because we know there's problems over there. If we would happen to do any of these contracts, eventually it buys us time. It would buy us a couple years to make the decision of whether we're gonna rebuild, remodel, or we might find out that it's way cheaper to just transport out. And after a year, we would know that. That's why the reason for these contracts with these other entities was to buy us time. I think we have a little bit of tweaking to do on some of them to finalize a few things, but that's the reason that I was looking at these other contracts.
anything else, Josh? Any other commissioner have anything to add? I think so. Anything else, Josh?
Thank you.
No,
Thank you. Okay, then we gotta go back to number 15. What are we gonna do with the discussion regarding contracting with Falk County? Got some,
We'll revisit the idea with them to retweak a few things in there and bring it back to the table.
okay.
Scott, I gotta go.
Okay, thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, then we'll go to 23, old business. Anybody have any old business?
I guess I don't know if that'd be under old or new, but how we come in with highway superintendent.
We're still looking at applications.
Okay.
Anything else? Number 24, new business.
Need to set the first meeting in January.
Eighth?
Do you want to just do it the following week?
On the 8th. I would think that.
I would say the eighth.
The first Tuesday, after the first.
Yeah.
Fine.
Anything else? Not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We have a motion on the floor, need a second?
Second.
A second, all in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye. Motion passed.